Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We will follow the usual format. If you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand. We don't have any broadcasters on the call today, so if we could kick off with Jim Conlon, please. Jim. Jim, you're on mute, Jim.
Okay. Hi, Daniel. How are you? In terms of this upcoming game against Bournemouth, you know them all well from the Championship. This is a difficult encounter, not an easy cup game. Bournemouth going well in the Championship.
Hi, Jim. Yes, I agree. So it's definitely a good game and a tough test for us. Bournemouth, they've themselves played several years in a row on Premier League level. It was a bit surprising that 2 years ago they were relegated and had also good chances to promote back straight away to the Premier League last season. And in general, so they still have a really good squad with many individual quality, many I would say Premier League players. And they started the season also quite well, not sitting on top of the league, but they're still unbeaten anyhow, and we are pretty respectful. So it will be a tough test anyhow. There's no doubt about this. But nevertheless, we want to go into the next round.
And can I ask you a bit about Billy Gilmour? I suppose in terms of he's known as Chelsea since growing up. He's made that switch to come and play first team football at Norwich. Have you sort of been pleased about the character, the willingness to grow and learn and develop as a regular first team Premier League footballer? Do you still feel he's a chip on his shoulder to prove Thomas Tuchel, to prove Chelsea wrong, that he was good enough to be a starter for Chelsea?
Not to prove Thomas Tuchel wrong, not to prove Chelsea wrong, not at all. So they believe in him. Otherwise, they wouldn't be that careful in sending him out to a club, and they choose the club that suits also their style, that suits his style. I think they totally believe in him. But the competition, Chelsea is one of the best clubs in the world anyhow, is amazing there. So for that, I think it was definitely a top decision. So we are all happy that we have Billy. I just can praise his work ethic, his attitude. He always gives his everything really on the training pitch, on the pitch. I'm pretty pleased also what he's shown so far after also a bit difficult preseason for him, because he came pretty late after the Euros, and he had also the COVID situation anyhow, and I can just praise his character. And I'm a bit reminded to Oliver Skipper. Of course, they are different players and with different skills anyhow, but it was also a bit the beginning with Oliver in the first games. He showed some solid performances, but also with some place for improvement anyhow, and we backed him, we showed him some trust. In the end, he was outstanding for us last season, and we hope it will be the same with Billy. I think he's rock solid so far and has many good scenes. Of course, also some situations where he could even improve, but he has never played really consistently 90 minutes on this level. And I'm pretty happy with him so far. But I think he will even improve as more experience as he has on this level, as more he is in his rhythm, and also depth a bit, even a bit more to our style. And also when we are capable, also hopefully then to dominate perhaps the games a bit more than it was possible against Liverpool and Man City. Anyhow, this will suit his style also a bit more, and I'm quite happy that we have him, and I'm fully convinced that he will play an important part for us during the season.
And finally, for me, Daniel, we're heading into the crazy week, as they call it, in terms of managers, in terms of the transfer sort of window. Two players being rumoured. I don't know if you could clarify any bit of truths in this. Both right backs, Jade Spence from Middlesbrough and Ashley Miles from Arsenal in terms of a loan deal. Any truth on any of those?
No comments on any rumors. If I deny something anyhow, and the next time I don't deny something, then you could interpret, oh, there is something in it. And also for that, we never comment any rumors. That's always our way how we handle the business. And for that, nothing to comment and nothing to speak about.
Cheers, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Okay, next Jim, please.
Jim double today. So, Daniel, we just had the news this afternoon. Brandon Williams coming into the club. He says he's ready and raring to go. Is he just the type of player you need, do you think, to help kickstart the campaign?
Yeah, first of all, we are really happy that we have him, and we have worked on this business for quite a long time, even since a few weeks, because we are fully convinced of Brennan and his qualities. A young player full of potential, and he has proven this already, or even on Premier League level for top class side, and also has a few appearances also in the European competition. So I'm pretty happy that we have him. But like always with a young player, so we are always a bit careful. It's not like after 2 days he's in, he will wear the captain armband and cut the Premier League for us into pieces. More like it's also for him. It's sometimes even a bit easier to play with a top class side, and anyhow, and instead of bringing or being immediately then one of the best performers in the side, anyhow, who is just promoted. So for that we have to be a bit careful, but we are fully convinced of his strengths, and it was definitely also a position we were looking at in the last weeks, because we just have one natural left fullback in our squad with Dimitrios Giannoulis, and I think it was quite important to bring another fullback in. Brennan plays, although he's right-footed, regularly on the left back position, but of course he can also play the right fullback position. I think I'm quite happy that we have him right now, and it was an important key piece of our business during this window.
And not confirmed yet whether he will be available for the cup game. Are you still waiting on clearance from the league for that?
No, I think he will be available. It would be a big surprise if he's not. Should be quite simple. And again, we'll have a late decision with him. So this afternoon he will train the first time together with us, and yeah, we'll have a late decision if he's already in the game day squad for tomorrow or not.
And how is the rest of the squad looking? Any news on Zimmerman or Planchetta? Anyone coming back, or are you just going to take this opportunity to rest a few guys?
No, Planchetta will not be available. That's definitely for sure. So we expect that he probably will just return more or less after the international break and be available after this time, because he's still struggling more like with the long-term symptoms from his corona situation. Sadly, so it's improving. Thank God it's improving anyhow. But sadly, yeah, he missed the last 2 weeks and it's not back in team training. It's a bit better with Christoph Zimmermann. We are all quite confident that he's also available for tomorrow. So we have one session this afternoon and also light session tomorrow morning. Let's see how he comes through the sessions. But some good signs. I think he will be available. And I'm a deep believer in cup competition, and yes, of course, we will have a bit in our mind that was also a bit tricky pre-season, and perhaps I just have the group together since 2 weeks, if you're really honest. So normally it's not a problem for us to play all 3 or 4 days. We're used to this from the championship, but in the beginning of the season, when you're just more or less since 2 weeks together with the proper group due to the COVID outbreak, sometimes the players need in the beginning a bit more time to recover after the game. So for that, you could probably expect a few more changes than I would normally like to do. So I always think that 3 or 4 changes in the game is always good when you play all 3 or 4 days, and more are sometimes not that healthy for the squad. But I'm even thinking about a few more changes if I'm honest, because we had this tricky situation to have to keep this also a little bit in mind. But nevertheless, we want to be there with a strong starting lineup, and I also want to go into the next round.
Can I just ask you one question, looking back on the Manchester City game, if I may? You will have obviously analysed everything that went on. I don't know if you're aware, but the match of the day, they were looking at things and comments negative, naive defending and things like that. Does that frustrate you? Because obviously as a coach, you don't go out there and tell your players not to tuck in and track back and just all ball watch, or is that just all part and parcel of now being in the Premier League and you're going to be under the microscope more, and people are going to say, well, Norwich are naive defending or need to do X, Y, and Z?
No, I'm not frustrated. Not frustrated at all. That's part of the business. So the games will of course be analyzed a lot more. And yeah, once we lose a game 5-0, I don't expect the pundits or analyzing anyhow to praise us. Yeah, of course you have to point also with the fingers what we could have done better. It will be the other way around. Yeah, if you win a game on this level, then you are perhaps praised even a bit too much. So for that's part of the business. And my players also want to play on this level, on this big stage, and Premier League level. And for that, they also have to handle the pressure and the criticism. It's not a problem at all. I was also not overly happy after the game with our defending behavior, in especially on one position. So our two players who played on the left fullback position didn't have their best day anyhow. And it's also important not to lie and not to hide apart from this. From this fact, but we also try to stay balanced anyhow, and you also have to say, of course, after 5-0 anyhow, you have to be self-critical and you have to accept all the criticism. On the other hand, you also have to say, we played Man City, especially after they are in league, at least one of the best sides in the world, if not the best side in the world. So they won the title last season with a big point gap and well deserved. And once this side is then also 2-0 up after 20 minutes. After they had also one or two, not poor performances, but poor results. And, you could even feel that they are relieved and they are in the mood to play. And in general, if I judge also the game in a bit more balanced way, I was not happy with our defending behavior, especially on this position. But in general, you have to say, not as an excuse. And we of course, we had to create more in the offense. We wanted to be better in our possession. We want to press them higher. I tell you what, so if you're 2-0 down at the Etihad after 20 minutes, it's also not that easy to play further on in possession with courage and to press with courage, anyhow, especially not for such a young side like us. And in general, Man City had, I think, 15 or 16 shots in the end. We had 15 shots against Liverpool in our home game. So it was not like they totally deserved to win this game anyhow. But it was also like they had 4 shots on our target and we lost this game 5-0. All their shots on target were a goal, and there was one own goal. So if you analyze all the other shots, they were blocked shots or shots who went, 15 yards over the goal. Anyhow, if it's 0-0 and they are there with such a finish, the stadium is mooning. So there was not one save Tim Krul had to make. And with the goals, he couldn't do anything. So if Man City is there and uses each every chance with shot on target, it's a goal. Anyhow, then also you expect that a tough day. So in general, I was also not happy anyhow with our defending behavior, especially on the left fullback position. But this is what you have to handle at times. And it's not like we are too down or too concerned. And now we accept this. Yes, Man City deserved to win this game, but it was also not that this game they could have finished anyhow in double figures. So not at all. Each and every shot on target was a goal. And for that, yes, we drew a line under it quite quickly. Of course, Saturday evening, we're also still disappointed. Sunday, we spoke about a few topics. And from now on, it doesn't matter at all.
And they've spent a few quid as well, haven't they? That always helps. So thanks very much. Best of luck in the Cup. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Okay, could we go to Paddy Daggett, please, from the EDP?
Daniel, how are you?
Paddy, hi. Yes, all okay.
Thanks for your time, as always. Just one on Brandon Williams. Are you hoping, apart from we know the talent the guy's got, because you don't play for Man United if you don't have the talent, but is it that personality as well that he's playing for, an elite club and all the pressure that comes with it when fans were allowed in 70,000 every week at Old Trafford, and that's something else that he can bring to your group, that he has that personality to handle everything that comes with playing in the Premier League?
He's a confident young guy, and he's competitive and also brave. I like this, but to be honest, I also don't expect such a young guy. Yes, yet I think around 20 appearances for Man United. So this says a lot about his potential, also his mindset. Yeah, when you are allowed for such a big club who has the pressure to win each and every game, to be involved in 20 Premier League games, and also already several games in the European competition, says a lot also about your character. You need a special attitude in order to handle then the pressure. And I'm quite sure Ole wouldn't have chosen him if he wouldn't be prepared. So says a lot about this. But I don't expect him right now to lead our lines and to be then our leader. He's a young guy. He has not played regularly week in, week out, 90 minutes on this level, and we don't put too much pressure on his shoulder. He just should perform once he get the nod to start the game anyhow, and should help us. There's also lots of competition, so it's not a guarantee anyhow that he plays. He can play both fullback positions. We've got great competition. Of course, a bit unlucky that the last game was perhaps on this position not that great, but in general. So Dimitrios, for example, was praised a lot for his performance against Liverpool, and although Salah was also there with some end products, but I think he was there with a really good performance, especially in the offense. Max Aarons, we don't have to speak about him at all. Also, I think how he defended also his right wing in the last game against Man City was also quite well. So all the goals were prepared over the other side. So it's not that easy. It's not like Brendan will come in and wears a captain armband after 2 days, game days, and he's a big leader and the big talker in the dressing room. So we are all happy that we have him. I like his character. I like that he's a brave young guy, but not too much pressure on him. So we're just happy that we have.
Talking of young players and not putting too much pressure on, but is it an opportunity tomorrow for Jolis? Maybe we've not seen him obviously in the Premier League yet, been in your match day squads, but actually on the pitch, is he in your thoughts tomorrow night?
Yes, we will see. So in general, so Christos is an unbelievable, interesting young player, and he was totally worth also the money that we spent on him, because he's one of the hottest prospects on the winger position in whole Europe in his age, and it's never a guarantee that he has the potential to be one day one of the best wingers in the world. He has the potential to do this because he's quick, he delivers end products, he can score, he can assist. He's there with runnings in behind, great character anyhow, and many skills we like about him. This was the reason why many clubs in Europe were chasing him. If there would be a guarantee that he does the next steps anyhow on the best level, he would be worth whatever £100 million, because this is the price and for the best wingers in the world. So it's never a guarantee. So even with him, so we have to be careful. We have to make sure that we don't bring him too early in contention anyhow, once he's not prepared anyhow. So I have to make sure that sometimes the players need a little bit to adapt anyhow. Let's be honest, he came from a league anyhow. He has also played for a big club, and that's a sign also of his potential, but not from one of the best leagues in the world, if I'm honest. So the intensity and the speed and the pace anyhow is of course here a bit different with all respect to the Greek football in comparison to the Premier League here right now. And we need to give him also a bit time to adapt to this, and I will definitely do this. But he's also, my thoughts, it could be that he is also involved in the games and in the game tomorrow, and it was also no coincidence that he was already in the game day squad. It was not a gift anyhow, but we see his potential. But it's also not like we've signed, for example, Milot Rasica, who has many Bundesliga games and lots of experience. We've signed Josh Sargent, who's 2 years older, has already 70 games on Bundesliga level. Of course, they are more the players where you expect, okay, they can even help really short term anyhow. Christos is more a project who helps in mid and in long term. That doesn't mean in 2 or 3 years anyhow, but it could mean even a few weeks or a few months anyhow. So for that, don't put too much pressure on him, and also too much expectations on him. He will need also a bit time anyhow to shine, and then to use his whole potential. But we work each and every day with him, and it could also be that he's involved in a few minutes even tomorrow.
In terms, we all know how you treat the cups with the utmost respect since you've come to England. But in terms of a very difficult start for all the reasons we already know, how much is that influencing how you might go tomorrow? In terms of, do you go with some of the lads who've played in those 2 games, or do you go the other way and maybe make a few changes? Is it a difficult balance tomorrow night? Setting aside, we know how much you would want to get through to the next round.
Yes, as you said, and as you know, so I'm a deep believer in cup competition. I want to go into the next round, and actually, I don't like to rotate too much in this games. I think tomorrow probably we have to do this, due to 2 reasons. So first, we have a good depth in our squad, and I want to use this. And the second is also like the interrupted preseason, because sometimes we have already 2 league games, but sometimes you forgot a little bit that we just trained together with this group since 2 weeks, if I'm honest, and 10 out of or 11 out of these players had to isolate for 2 weeks and had no team training just 2 weeks ago. So and for us, it's never a problem to play all 3 or 4 days, and we're used to this from the championship. Also with the load, it's not a problem at all. But once you're not really in your rhythm already, and you don't have a proper preseason, then it's a bit more difficult. And in the beginning, you need a bit more time also to recover. I think after the international break, once we are together, so for 5-6 weeks, and then we could also play 3 games within 7 days. But at this moment, of course, a few players also were involved in the first 2 games, where we wanted and need to give them game time in order to find their rhythm and also to work on their endurance. But would be then too big ask to ask them also perhaps to play this game again. So for that, you can expect also a few more changes than I would actually like to do, because so 3-4 changes sometimes more are not that healthy for the team performance. But I think we have to take the risk tomorrow in order also to rotate perhaps on a few more positions. So probably you can expect a few more changes. Yes.
Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for your time. Good luck tomorrow. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paddy. Okay, anybody else before we go to Rob Butler? Rob, just got one more from Paul Brown before we come to you.
No
Rob.
worries. Yeah, okay.
Hi, Daniel.
Paul, hi.
I just wondered how do you lift your players after 2 results like that? And inevitably, you will hear a lot of people say that your style of play will need to change, that this is too naive from Norwich, and that you will need to be much more pragmatic and defensive. How do you defend yourself from people who say that? And how convinced are you that you are playing the right way this season?
I'm not in the situation to have to defend ourselves. We have lost 2 games anyhow, and then it's always a bit of criticism, and it's quite normal. It's part of the business anyhow. I also don't have to lift the mood anyhow. My players are not stupid. We've played Liverpool. All their key players there, they had 4 weeks of training camp abroad anyhow. They had top class friendlies. All their key players, Salah, Mane, summer break, 6 weeks preparation just for this game. Van Dijk, Matip, 6 weeks preparation just on the focus on this game. And we had a pretty interrupted preseason, and we are Norwich City and not Manchester City, with all respect. And we played on 65 minutes, more or less on the same level anyhow, and they didn't play us out of the park anyhow. So they deserved to win this game. They were better in both boxes, you have to say. But was a good performance. And then the second game day, anyhow, we played at the Etihad against the Premier League champions. Anyhow, the first time that they played in their stadium in front of fans since 2 years. After they were up 2-0 after 20 minutes. Anyhow, they were in the mood, and that's also difficult. We played against 2 of the best sides in the world. Anyhow, with world-class players, world-class coaches, anyhow, and we can judge it in the right way. So these are not the games where we should win or need to win points in order to survive in this league. That's definitely for sure. There's always some criticism. What does it mean? So to play more pragmatic or to be too naive? So I don't see the point. So what means to play more pragmatic? So what should we do? Should we put the ball up front? So it was not one goal we conceded because we tried to play out anyhow from the back. There was not one goal we conceded where we went underload at the back. No, it's the other way around. So if we start right now to play long balls to Milo Drazic, to Todd Cantwell, to Timo Pukki, anyhow, to Billy Gilmore. So it's not like we have no chance anyhow. So if we don't want to play with Billy Gilmore, if we don't want to play with Max Aarons, if we don't want to play with Todd Cantwell, with Timo Pukki, with Milo Drazic, with whatever, Dimitrios Giannoulis, anyhow, if we just want to play with players who are 3 yards tall, anyhow, then we can play perhaps for long balls anyhow. But if we start right now anyhow just to put the ball up front, so then we have no chance at all. So then we are not competitive against Liverpool for 65 minutes. Then we don't just allow Manchester City to have just 4 shots on our targets. Sadly, our 4 shots were in the goal, and we also scored one own goal. So then we have no chance in order to survive in this league, because we don't have the squad to play in a different way. And there was not one goal we have conceded in both games because we just tried to play out from the back. There was not one goal where we were underloaded anyhow. It's more like, yes, it's difficult for us to be competitive on this level. Yeah, when I compare, we were a bit criticized, and we couldn't hide. We were a bit criticized for the mistakes of our left back. Yeah, 4 times their right winger was in behind our left back. Yeah, 3 times it was Gabriel Jesus, and 1 time it was Mahrez. And we played there with Dimitrios Giannoulis, and I love this lad. Yeah, he's a top player for us anyhow. But he plays his first season on Premier League level. Yeah, he's proven Greek international, yes, but he plays the first time on Premier League season. And at halftime, we brought a player in with Bali Mumba, more like first appearances for him on this level 1 year ago. He was a substitute for Sunderland in the 3rd tier right now, and he has to defend Gabriel Jesus and Mahrez, and was there with mistakes? Yeah, should I punish him right now or say I'm too concerned anyhow? So no, it's the way the players that we have, and we try with our players to make the best out of it. Yeah, when I see the other situation, I think Man City started with Cancelo. The second option was Zinchenko. The third option was Mendy on the left fullback position. Yeah, you have to say it's a different animal in comparison to us. So for that, I'm not concerned. It has nothing to do with our style, with being more pragmatic. Anyhow, yes, we have to improve the behavior. Anyhow, that's definitely for sure. We have to improve our positioning in front of the goals. We have to make sure that our left fullback closes the inner line. You can call this naive anyhow or mistake anyhow, but it has nothing to do with our style of playing. It was more like an individual tactical mistake. Yes, and we have to improve this, but it doesn't improve just by putting the ball anyhow in the stand or just up front to players. Yeah, I'm not sure if Timo Pukki tries to win the headers against whatever Laporte or Diaz anyhow that we have a chance. I'm not sure if Milo Drasic wins the headers against Kyle Walker. I'm not sure if Max Aarons or Billy Gilmore win the headers against their players. So it has nothing to do with our style, but criticism. Yeah, we lost the game 5-0. We've conceded too many goals. Yes, of course, we have to improve our individual behavior. That's right.
So we will see the real Norwich from now on. Basically, you're saying.
I'm not sure if it was not the real Norwich in the last games, if I'm honest. But it will always be that we are a self-funded club anyhow. We are not capable anyhow to spend millions of pounds on players. We need to sell one of our best players, Emi Buendia, for unbelievable transfer fee in order to bring for this money Milo Drasic, Josh Sargent, Christos Solis, Pierre-Les Melou, Angus Gunn, and Billy Gilmore on loan. And so we had to sell this player in order to bring 6 players in. So because we don't have financial opportunities like other teams anyhow. And so for that, we have to develop our players and we have to trust our players. So of course, it would be easier anyhow if we buy a left back for £50 million, if we buy 2 centre backs, both for £50 million, would be definitely easier. So if we are too concerned because we lose the game at the Etihad against Liverpool anyhow, then we shouldn't take part in this in the competition in this league. So if we just want to celebrate each other, we should say, no, come on, let's stay on championship level, let's play on League One. Then we win probably most of the games with our squad. Then we can celebrate each other. If we're not capable also to have this capacity to suffer sometimes also a tough period in this league when we play against the best side in the world, then we shouldn't take part in this competition. But we are greedy, so we want to develop our players. We want to make sure that we are also competitive on this level, and believe me, we will also win points on this level. And Premier League is not a sprint; it's a marathon. It's not important where you are after 2 game days against Man City and Liverpool. The most important thing is where we are after 38 game days, and want to be in a good position, on the best possible position. And this is just important. Then we see what the outcome is. how good we were, but I'm not willing to be concerned or to be the other way after 2 good games over the moon. Anyhow, we are quite realistic and we want to go our way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. And finally, Rob.
Thanks, Dan. Let's crack on then, Daniel, if that's okay. Good to see you. Let's talk about Brandon Williams a little bit more. Obviously, a player that lots of Norwich fans would have seen. He's aggressive, energetic, a winner, has played in the Premier League and the Champions League for Manchester United. Is that the kind of player that you feel you need to add to the squad? Someone with a bit of aggression, maybe?
Well, in general, we are convinced of his potential and also his bravery. He's a confident young lad, anyhow, and we are convinced that he will help us, and especially for this position, left back position, like I mentioned, we just had one natural left back before with Dimitri Janus. It was important to bring another full back option in, and many compliments to Stuart that we're capable to do this. Yes, he's a young player. If it would be a guarantee that he's from now on the best left back in the league, probably Manchester United wouldn't have sent him out on loan, so probably they would have kept him. And so there's never a guarantee with a young player who has not played so far, week in, week out on this position. But we are convinced of him that he helps us. But even with him, there's no guarantee. There's competition on his positions. Max Evans on the right fullback position, together with Bali Mumba, Dimitri Janoulis on left back position. Actually, important player for us just to be, because he had 45 tough minutes against Man City. Anyhow, we don't let our trust in him go away. Anyhow, not at all. He has our backing, so it's not a guarantee for Brennan. But we've got the feeling right now with him, we've got proper competition, and I think important business for us, definitely.
Yeah, and obviously, hopefully, should be available for tomorrow night, all being well. Obviously, probably tempted to throw him in there, but how important is it that Norwich win the game tomorrow night just to get a little bit of confidence back into the lads?
Yes, we want to win the game, and also each and every win helps. There's also no doubt. On the other hand, even if we lose a game, so we wouldn't have a worse or better position in the table. So if I'm honest, it doesn't mean that much also for the Leicester game. Of course, a win is always good for the self-confidence, and for that we are also highly motivated. But like I mentioned, perhaps I will rotate even a bit more than I would actually do for such a cup game, because I got the feeling some rest for some players and also some game time for some players who are perhaps not in the right now in the physical condition to start perhaps a Premier League game already is important on the bigger picture. And for that, perhaps just to rest and also to give some game time away is perhaps even more important than the result. But nevertheless, we want to be there with a result, and we want to go into the next round, if anyhow possible, also to grind out to win.
You talked a lot about Christos Jolis and how impressed you've been with him, obviously in training. I guess you've seen him do things that you want him to do in a competitive game on the pitch. You must be really tempted to show him off tomorrow night, let the Norwich fans see him, because they're really excited, from what we understand, to see this player.
Yes, that's quite. I'm also excited to see him, but I have to also to make sure that he's a young lad. So you know how quick everyone is in terms of judging, and I have to be also unbelievably careful, because the mood can change a lot. So Josh Sargent is the best example. I think once we signed him, and his name was not the biggest name in English football, everyone was thinking, who is this guy? How should he help us anyhow? And how should he support us? And his goal record is not that impressive. It's not a Premier League player. And he came in just for 50 minutes against Liverpool, when Liverpool was perhaps also already a bit relaxed because they were 3-0 lead. He looked unbelievably sharp, and meanwhile everything is more, Josh Sargent is the solution anyhow. So it's sometimes in the positive way, but also in the negative way. And I have to make sure, for example, when I bring a player in and he's not really prepared and he's there with a poor performance, then also many people are on the back, on the shoulders of his players. And especially for young players, it's not that easy to handle. Older players, like Tim Krul or Grant Hanley or Kenny McLean or Timo Pukki, they can handle this a little bit. I just have to make sure that I don't bring a young player in a situation once he's not really 100% prepared. But I like Christos a lot. I like his potential. I love to work with him and improve him each and every day. But I would tell you also right now, he is not in 4 or 5 days of finished product. He's a young player who needs to adapt anyhow. But we have it's more like we wanted to have him in because he's so much potential. He's so interesting, and we want to work with him. And he's also in my thoughts for tomorrow. I'll be honest. So I think he has good chances also to be involved for perhaps a few minutes or whatever. But I also have to make sure that I don't put him in a position when he's not prepared. So that's a bit the balance and the mix I have to find. But he's definitely a good option also for tomorrow.
And just on that kind of national media, what they talk about, the fact that Norwich, struggled at the start of the season. They've been up before and they came straight back down. Obviously, I think that the local media perhaps understands a little bit more about what Norwich are doing because, we're there every week. But does that motivate you? Does that motivate your players? Do you pin it up in the dressing room and say, look what they're saying about us, let's prove them wrong? Or do you just kind of ignore the noise, I think is the phrase?
No, for me, it's not important at all. Anyhow. So, and if someone talks about us and hasn't done the research, anyhow, then it doesn't really matter. So I'm not over the moon if someone praises us who is not really knowing what we're doing, and the other way around the same. So if someone says that we don't have the right anyhow to play in Premier League level, 97 points last season, title win, championship. Want to see which team has done this anyhow and doesn't deserve. So we didn't win our place in the lottery anyhow. We have earned unbelievable hard, and my feeling is really, with all respect to all the other clubs, but my feeling is if a self-funding club on this level is able to win the title in the championship with 97 points and cut the championship into pieces. Self-funding club, without external money anyhow. And the club who has earned probably more money in the last 3.5 years than any other club in Western Europe, and is capable to play such a football anyhow, and the best season of best record of the season. No one earns more the right to play on the top level. Yes, and if someone says this, sometimes when you want to get your message across, and you have to provoke a little bit, or you didn't have done your research. I'm not annoyed, and it's just part of the business. Sometimes someone wants to provoke a little bit, or once you have to sell your news, or you have to sell your judgment a little bit, and overdoing a little bit, and provoking a little bit. And I think each and everyone who has more knowledge and information about what we are doing and what we're trying to achieving, and looks a bit under the surface, is just praising us. I think we had 2 years ago also with Ian Abrams from Talksport. He was criticizing us 2 years ago. Meanwhile, he's a big fan of our model anyhow, and he values it and he likes it anyhow. Because meanwhile, he's got all the information what we're doing here, and it's always the same. We want to convince just with our work and what we're doing, and we don't need to convince someone who doesn't know what we're doing here. So that's not important for me, and also not an extra motivation either.
Well, and just one final point on that. I mean, obviously, I'm sure it's the same in Germany. In Great Britain, people love an underdog, and Norwich are definitely the underdog this season. And I think, knowing you, Daniel, that you kind of thrive on that. You want to be the underdog. You want to prove people wrong.
Well, we let's be honest. We are the only self-funding club on this level. That means we will be the underdog in more or less each and every game, or nearly each and every game. Yeah, perhaps against the promoted side with us. Anyhow, you could say, okay, it's more or less on the same level, but that's it. And anyhow, and then I'm also not because quite often the people like the underdog. Yeah, there must be some people who want to provoke and say, no, the underdog has to win each and every game. So just to have a opinion, and everyone says, oh, he's a great personality and he's special anyhow. So it's not important at all. So we know that we are the underdog, but we don't try to make more out of us as we are, but also not less anyhow. So we want to be competitive during the season. In the end, yes, we will see after 38 game days, not before, where we are, and that's just important. And I'm pretty sure that in the end, this team, whatever the outcome is, but I think everyone has a connection with the yellow shirt, and I'm pretty sure that this team, and my gut feeling is like this, will have done everyone proud who is connected with the yellow shirt.
Great stuff as always. Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks, everyone. We'll leave it there. And as always, we will get the recording of this press conference sent around later today. Thank you.